Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, we wanted to bring your attention to a huge story that's gone virtually unnoticed by the media. Of course, we've got this reality show playing out in real time here in the U.S. with this current election cycle. But we are also quite aware of the fact that World War III is a brewing. So it really doesn't matter who gets elected. Whoever it is going to have to be overseeing World War III. Now, these are statements that were made by U.S. State Department spokesman John Kirby, basically threatening Moscow with terror attacks in Russian cities and even shooting down Russian jets if Putin continues to fight ISIS there in Syria. So take a listen to what Kirby had to say, Margaret. I mean, this is just crazy. Someone who has been in Russia understands how threatening and volatile, like, why are you poking this bear? So he says extremist groups will continue to exploit the vacuums that are there in Syria to expand their operations, which could include attacks against Russian interests, perhaps even Russian cities. Russia will continue to send troops home in body bags and will continue to lose resources, perhaps even aircraft. More Russian lives will be lost. More Russian aircraft will be shot down. Now, of course, is this not true of U.S. troops as well? What is he saying? Of course, a Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson is taking these remarks as a thinly veiled threat.
There's no veil, Leanne. They're absolutely threatening Russia, saying that we will come after you if you don't stop killing ISIS. That's the bottom line. And this State Department official, their spokesperson, John Kirby, he's not even masking the fact that he's threatening their military craft, their citizens, their cities. This is major, major news. This is not hyped up. There's no drama involved in this. We are literally on the precipice of World War III. And as somebody who understands the dynamic somewhat just from living and working in Moscow, they see us, everything that we do as a provocation. I really didn't understand it until you get outside from behind the propaganda of the U.S. and you do realize, oh my gosh, we do have missiles pointed on the Russian border. We are threatening their military aircraft. And hey, also, Donald Trump made this incredible comment a few weeks ago, went largely unnoticed. He said, why the hell do we care if they're bombing ISIS? Right. Why do we care if they're killing the terrorist? Isn't that in everybody's interest? You know, why don't we just let them? And the fact of the matter is, our own State Department has armed these rebels that are now ISIS. They've given them the northern part of Iraq, which is in vast control of the oil in Iraq, which they're selling to China, by the way, and funding more terrorism. And we, in a preliminary stage, funded them. I don't know if you recall John McCain going to Syria, standing with the rebels. Well, guess what? They're now destroying and targeting U.S. citizens. So,
right. And this is exactly what the Foreign Ministry spokesperson there in Russia is saying, that it sounds more, what John Kirby is saying sounds more like a get 'em command rather than a diplomatic comment, not trying to be polite, but, you know, hey, we're kind of in charge of these moderate rebels. And boy, it would be a shame if they shot down some more of your jets and took out some more of your troops and perhaps even attacked your cities outright. Can you imagine if Putin had made some sort of a threat saying that, well, you know, ISIS could just come in and maybe take out some cities there in the U.S.? Would that not be a red line that Obama would have to maybe go to war?
Correct. That is such a, so just putting ourselves in their shoes for a moment, if one superpower said to the U.S., we're going to send your guys home in body bags, we're going to destroy your aircraft because you're killing terrorists. Well, first of all, let's not forget that Syria is a sovereign nation. Russia is a sovereign state, also happens to be a world superpower. And the fact that we're using these provoking words, and Russia even frames it, you know, going back to how they see these statements, they're basically saying that this U.S. State Department spokesperson, John Kirby, and what he said this week, it's basically seen as a provocation prior to war. So we see this blustering. We saw it in World War II, where world leaders were threatening and doing these sort of provoking remarks months prior to the beginning of World War II. We're seeing this again. We're right on the cusp. And let's not forget, and I don't mean to get off topic here, but Wesley Clark, very famous general, once ran for president 7 years ago. He said, look, the U.S. has a list of countries that we're planning on taking out. We're taking out. Iraq was on this list. So was Syria. So was Libya. It ends with Iran, by the way. But Syria was on our list. We have an agenda. Russia's stopping our agenda. So now, oh, by the way, we also have to go after Russia. That's what's happening.
You know, and let's not forget, this is, of course, just coming about 2 weeks after the U.S. reportedly became ISIS's air force by mistakenly taking out the base there. And it's like, I'm sorry, but our military is not that stupid this was a well set up base. So it's not as if they mistakenly took out the wrong base and helped ISIS. So, this is a major provocation, and also threatening World War III is absolutely insane. If you think about it, Trump's going to get in. He's making all of these promises to the American people, but there's no way he's going to be able to uphold those promises. If he gets elected, he's going to immediately have to start dealing with World War III that's being propped up, which is why Hillary Clinton can't wait to get in there, because she's all ready to ride that little horse right into Armageddon. So let's kind of shift gears here and talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton and her plans to do whatever it takes to get elected. These are very bad people, and they've been bad people for decades. A lot of people were very upset with the debate. For instance, this first debate, they said that the debate moderator ignored all of Hillary's scandals. Trump was saying, look, he hit me on the birther thing. He hit me on a housing deal from many years ago that I settled with no recourse. That's a beauty to be asked. About a 40-year-old lawsuit that he settled with no recourse. Can you imagine the skeletons in Hillary Clinton's closet that he could have pulled out, but he didn't? And that's not it. So this was just kind of the tip of the iceberg. But let's go ahead and look at some of the conspiracy theories that are going around online. First off, we've got this article up on Infowars. What's that under Hillary's pantsuit during the debate? Did you see those pictures?
Oh my! So she clearly has this box with a cord in her back, and we noticed on the first Commander-in-Chief forum that she was wearing an earpiece very noticeably, and you would think that that would be a violation of the rules, but this time that wasn't noticeable. But what was noticeable was this cord in this case. And
I personally think it is something that has to do with the electrodes going into her back, so she doesn't have seizures.
It's possible that it's medical.
I think it's some type of a medical device, but either way, whatever it is, people can now clearly see it under these big boxy clothing that she's constantly wearing to hide these devices. And people deserve to know what the heck is going on with her health. But that's not even it. It doesn't even stop there. That's not even the weirdness. Now, there was someone tweeted a video. If we can go ahead and put that video up, it's about this guy. Who's the guy with the briefcase, or he takes Hillary Clinton's notes. So you just watch this, it'll play out. They're walking out. This was after that 5-minute delay. And, they go shake the moderator. Who's that guy up at Hillary Clinton's podium, taking the little files out? They go shake hands, and he goes and stands over in the corner, and, got to wait for Lester to, get his attention. And then he walks over, and there's the little handoff. Who is that guy?
Oh, man.
I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe that's normal, but it's something that nobody noticed. They cut away.
They have such a history of corruption that honestly, I honestly believe this. That lady's reality is so skewed. She doesn't understand when she's lying and telling the truth. And you talk about the skeletons in her closet. We were going to break down this earlier. James Comey, the director of the FBI, there was an article that came out that said the FBI, the agents handling it, had to sign these confidentiality agreements prior to even working on the Clinton investigation. So they had to protect themselves. And if they talked to the press or talked to the public in any way about Clinton, they would lose their careers, lose their pensions. And it looks like Comey has been one of the largest advocates in protecting the Clinton Foundation and her corruption scandals, because the FBI agents, they were blocked from even serving search warrants. In retrieving key evidence in some cases. There's this laundry list of things that they're not allowed to do. The FBI agents were even blocked and suppressed by DOJ brass, this article asserts. And, they were basically used. And Cheryl Mills, mind you, and other people that were affiliated with Clinton that did her dirty work, two people connected to her server, they were both given criminal immunity from the FBI.
That was the only way they would let them get into their emails to their own private servers, is that they would have to have immunity. And of course, how weird is that Cheryl Mills was able to represent Hillary Clinton during this investigation, even though she was involved in it? So all super creepy. And then, of course, let's not forget that there's also people saying that Hillary Clinton gave hand signals to the debate moderator, Lester Holt. We've got the video continues to be taken down. It keeps getting slapped with a copyright. But Mike Cernovich actually tweeted out to one of his friends, who's like this world famous, world champion poker player, who said, indeed, signaling to the face like that is one of the oldest hand signals in the book to communicate. If they had been inside of a casino and she was doing that, they would have gotten taken off the table. And so what they're saying in this video is that every time she wanted to slap a zinger on Donald Trump, she would do this thing with her face, very noticeable. And Lester Holt would either interject with Trump, he would interrupt Trump, or he would stay on that topic and throw to Hillary Clinton. So these people will do whatever it takes. They will stop at nothing to get this woman in. Why? I think it's because, she wants to ride that train into World War III.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. Infowars Life Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by Infowars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.